the shadow of Mount Vesuvius, on the morning of August the 24th, 79 AD, the prosperous Roman city of Pompeii awakened to what seemed like just another perfect day.
Fresh this morning, only 3 denarii.
What rumor has people restless today?
The ground hums like a beehive. I told my sons, keep the cart ready to roll.
Craziest rumor you've heard today.
Sky's about to rain stones. If it does, I'll juggle them for extra coin.
These were real people, with real dreams, real families. Children laughed over breakfast while gladiators trained for games they would never see.
What's your biggest fear right now?
Dying for their cheers. I plan to vanish at sunset, win or lose.
Who's your real enemy today?
Not barbarians. That mountain. Orders say stay calm, but my gut screams march.
Stirring far below, animals felt it first. That primal instinct humans had forgotten. Horses stamped nervously in their stalls. Dogs whined and paced. Then, as if summoned by some ancient alarm, every bird in Pompeii took flight at once. Now even the humans began to notice. Worried faces turned toward Vesuvius.
Look,
Omens,
the mountain!
searching
It's
desperately
smoking!
for answers from the gods.
What does this mean?
The very air began to change. A sharp, acrid smell.
Something stirs
Sulfur
inside that mountain,
drifted down from
yet
the mountain.
life in Pompeii goes
And
on.
there, from Vesuvius's ancient crater, thin wisps of steam began to rise like ghostly fingers against the blue Italian sky. Some merchants began packing their most precious goods. The eldest among them, those who remembered their grandfather's stories, spoke in hushed tones of the mountain's ancient power. But who listens to old men's tales when life is so rich, so abundant? At 1 o'clock in the afternoon, the earth screamed. Mount Vesuvius exploded with the force of 100,000 atomic bombs, shooting a column of ash 15 miles into the heavens. The ground beneath Pompeii bucked like a wild horse. In minutes, the sky transformed from Mediterranean blue to apocalyptic black. Day became night. And then came the sound every survivor would remember until their dying day. The collective cry of 20,000 people realizing their world was ending. The marketplace erupted in chaos. Vendors abandoned fortunes in goods. And then it began. The ash. At first, just a light dusting, like grey snow. Beautiful, almost. Deadly. In temples, desperate prayers rose to uncaring gods.
What's happening?
We have to run!
This way!
Would become immortal.
Run for your lives!
With each passing hour, the ash fell thicker, heavier. Lightning crackled through the volcanic cloud like the gods' own fury. This was nature at its most terrifying,
Protect us from this
beautiful,
doom.
Jupiter,
and merciless.
Almighty, hear our
Families
plea.
huddled in
Spare
doorways
us.
using their togas as masks. But the ash was relentless. Rooftops began to collapse under its growing weight. The very buildings that had sheltered generations were becoming tombs. By evening, Pompeii's famous streets had become rivers of ash, knee-deep, then waist-deep. And now came a new horror. Volcanic bombs, molten rock hurled from the mountain like the stones of angry titans. A gladiator broke free from his chains, choosing to die free rather than caged. A mother pulled her child closer, whispering promises she knew she couldn't keep. These were humanity's final, finest moments. Some still believed they could outrun death. Ox carts loaded with treasures crawled through the chaos. In grand villas, priceless mosaics were abandoned without a second glance. What use is wealth when the world is ending? But the ash brought invisible killers, poisonous gases that burned the lungs and clouded the mind. And in one heartbreaking scene that archaeologists would discover centuries later, A dog remained chained beside his fallen master, loyalty unto death. A Roman soldier maintained his post as the city burned around him, duty over survival. The Roman way, even at the end of the world. Fires spread from building to building, adding orange hell to the grey nightmare. A wealthy woman buried her jewelry in her garden, perhaps hoping to return someday. Above the city, an endless stream of refugees fled north, their torches like fireflies in the apocalyptic darkness. Even Rome's greatest engineering marvels fell. The aqueducts that had brought life to the city now lay broken, their precious water spilling uselessly into the ash. But Vesuvius had saved its worst for last. At dawn on August 25th, a pyroclastic surge, a hurricane of superheated gas and ash traveling at 450 miles per hour, raced down the mountain slopes. The temperature was 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Nothing could survive it. In those final moments, humanity revealed its truest nature. A priest led final prayers as death approached. Two lovers embraced, finding eternity in each other's arms. A gladiator raised his sword one last time, not to fight man, but to face the gods themselves. Ancient marble columns, witnesses to centuries of human drama, vanished into the grey hell. On Marcus, the merchant's face, the same man we met at dawn, was not terror, but a strange peace. He had seen his city's glory. Now he would share its fate. In seconds, Pompeii disappeared from the earth. Then, silence. Where 20,000 voices had laughed, cried, loved, and dreamed, there was now only the whisper of settling ash. The Roman Empire's most vibrant city had become its most perfect tomb. For 17 centuries, Pompeii lay hidden beneath 20 feet of volcanic deposits. Seasons changed, empires rose and fell, but the city waited, perfectly preserved, like a photograph frozen in time. Then, in 1748, archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli made a discovery that would change how we see the ancient world. Where bodies had decomposed, they left perfect cavities in the hardened ash. Fill those cavities with plaster, and the dead could speak again. Here was a mother shielding her child. There, a man covering his face against the ash. Not just artifacts, but frozen moments of human experience, as real as the day they died. Today, archaeologists continue their work, and millions of visitors walk where Romans once walked. Pompeii is no longer a lost city. It's a bridge across time, connecting us to lives that were not so different from our own. Mount Vesuvius still looms over the Bay of Naples, still active, still dangerous. 3 million people now live in its shadow. The mountain that destroyed Pompeii could awaken again tomorrow. But Pompeii's greatest gift wasn't its destruction, it was its preservation. In museums and classrooms around the world, children learn that empires may fall, but human stories endure. In the end, Pompeii teaches us the most important lesson of all, that every day we wake up is precious beyond measure, that every moment with those we love is a gift, and that the echo of a single human life can resonate across eternity itself. The ancient echoes of Pompeii's last days remind us we are still here,